A Bobcat's Unlikely Savior. The tale of Nova and Thor for 3 sleepless nights. Nova, a young bobcat, lay trembling in the corner of her enclosure at the sanctuary, her amber eyes wide with fear, piercing the thick Montana darkness. Rescued from the harsh winter wilds, she was a wounded creature, and the staff had tried everything: heating pads, gentle music, plush toys, even mild sedatives, but nothing eased the pain and terror etched in her gaze. Then, on a whim, a staff member brought Thor, a husky with striking ice blue eyes, to the edge of Nova's enclosure. Something extraordinary happened. Nova's tense body softened, her eyes slowly closed, and for the first time since her rescue, she slipped into a deep, restful sleep. Amid a brutal Montana winter, with snow blanketing the hills over a meter deep and temperatures plunging below 20 degrees, a bond began to form, one that defied the boundaries of nature. The story started 3 weeks earlier, when Forest Ranger Mike Peterson, a 20-year veteran, spotted a trail of fresh blood staining the pristine snow during a routine patrol. He knew it signaled a gravely injured animal, vulnerable to predators. Trusting his instincts, Mike followed the crimson path through dense pines and knee-deep drifts until he reached the base of an old, moss-covered pine. There, curled in the freezing snow, was Nova, a 6-month-old bobcat, her hind legs twisted unnaturally from a poacher's steel trap. Too young to be alone, she'd freed herself at the cost of severe spinal trauma. Gently, Mike placed her in a warm-lined box and rushed her to the sanctuary. Her weak, pained growls and confused, anguished eyes haunted him. Wildlife veterinarian Lisa Henderson sprang into action. The sanctuary wasn't equipped for such trauma, but this was an emergency. Initial tests revealed blood loss, dangerously low body temperature, and internal damage. After 4 grueling hours of surgery, Nova, named for the bright star Lisa glimpsed that night, survived, but the prognosis was grim. Permanent nerve damage to her spine and hind legs. A bobcat unable to hunt faced no future in the wild. For days, Nova lay motionless, refusing food, her eyes vacant or heavy with exhaustion, never finding true sleep. Cameras captured her futile attempts to stand, collapsing in pain, her cries echoing through the sanctuary. The team began to consider euthanasia. Captivity might not be humane. But fate intervened. Sarah Collins, a wildlife photographer studying Montana wolves, arrived with Thor, her white-gray husky. As they passed Nova's enclosure, Thor froze, ears perked, nose aimed at the bobcat. Unlike other dogs, he didn't bark. Sarah let him approach, and Nova lifted her head, alert for the first time, her gaze curious, not hostile. Thor edged closer, gentle and calm. Nova, in her first effort since surgery, dragged herself forward with her front legs, meeting him at the bars. Lisa saw a spark in Nova's eyes, a flicker of life, not fear. Sarah and Thor returned daily, sitting near the enclosure, never pushing. Lisa proposed a 2-week experiment to test Thor's impact. Nova began lingering by the bars, watching Thor, and even accepted food in his presence. A breakthrough. Her health stabilized. Heart rate, blood pressure, and temperature crept back to normal. On the 5th night, as Sarah prepared to leave, Nova wailed, a high, pleading cry that chilled the staff. Thor, 300 meters away, tugged at his leash, howling softly in concern. The night staff called in a panic. Nova was agitated, unresponsive to sedatives. Lisa made a bold call. Bring Thor back. His kennel was placed beside Nova's enclosure, monitored by infrared cameras. The result was miraculous. Nova's cries stopped. She inched close, lying by the bars. Thor pressed near, their noses almost touching. Within 5 minutes, Nova slept deeply, free of pain and fear. Data showed her cortisol levels dropped 70% with Thor near. Tests with Thor's sounds, scent, or another husky failed. Only Thor worked. Their bond deepened. Nova mimicked Thor, dragging herself forward with strong front legs, exploring more each day. She even copied his responses to Sarah's commands, sitting, tilting her head, remarkable for a wild feline. But concerns arose. Sanctuary director Richard Matthews feared dependency and anthropomorphism, threatening reintegration goals. A 24-hour separation test was attempted, but after 12 hours, Nova panicked, refusing food, clawing the walls until her claws bled. Thor howled, refusing to leave Sarah's door. Lisa halted the test, prioritizing Nova's safety. After debate, Nova became an exception. Sarah adopted her, creating a semi-wild space near the forest. 5 years later, Nova, now a mature bobcat with a glossy spotted coat and bright eyes, had adapted. Her unique half-walk, half-crawl let her climb low rocks and branches, defying predictions. Each morning, she and Thor shared a flat rock, watching the sunrise in silent harmony. The bond evolved. During thunderstorm, Thor, now aging, sought Nova, pressing close to her fur for comfort. Nova, once healed, became the healer. By the fourth winter, Thor slowed, and Nova paced herself, never straying far. One hot autumn day, she nudged him to shade, guiding her panting friend to rest. The fifth winter was harsh. Thor, 13 and frail, struggled. Nova stayed close, sharing warmth. On the longest night, Nova did the unthinkable, pushing into Sarah's house, a place she'd avoided, to lie beside Thor. She rested her head on his shoulder, eyes wide, guarding him. At dawn, Thor passed peacefully, Nova still by his side. For days, Nova lay by Thor's old bed, motionless. But on the third day, she returned to their rock, head high, facing the sunrise, beginning anew. The next spring, Sarah found an injured wolf cub, trapped like Nova once was. Nova approached, sniffed, then curled protectively around the trembling creature. That night, for the first time since Thor's death, Nova slept deeply. What Thor gave Nova, comfort, courage, Nova now gave another. Healing, they showed, comes not from perfection, but from a companion who walks beside you, sharing your pain under the moonlight.